Love to.
Yes. I do it first.
Really? So should I start new?
Nice.
Fix it in post. Hot. That's hot. You're on here. You're good.
The claps sync up.
This is good.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
recording
cool.
on everything, I think. Right?
That's what I'm starting this one. No. Yeah. Doug, clap now. Excellent. All right.
Nice.
Sick. All right.
We're
I've
ready.
been looking forward to talking about these beers for a long time. So we just did the history of Vibe. When I joined Vibe back in 2011, just getting into home brewing. I've been home brewing for 3 or 4 years. And when I showed up, I learned a lot about home brewing. That's why I'm still home brewing. I was kind of in a slump back then. But the thing at the same time was some members of Vibe bought some wine barrels.
Yep.
And then got deep into sour beer production. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So, got Andy, I do stuff. We got Doug.
Occasionally do stuff.
Occasionally do stuff. Kevin Wells, VC Tapped.
I drink stuff.
Taste everything.
Taste everything. Super heavy Jeff.
I've brewed in every one of these. So
Yes.
So
Sweet.
the talk today is about Cuvée Vibe, a series of beers we've made. It started all the way back in the original Sauvignon. We talked about this earlier.
2008.
2008, yeah.
Was that first barrel? Yeah.
Yeah. So we talked that, and then in around 11, 2 club members, Garrett and then Paul Ray, acquired barrels from a winery in Santa Barbara called Carr Winery, and that's what began. We will call, and hey, you can blow us up in the comments, a lambic in the Flanders.
Lambic-ish.
But we call them that. So, we're gonna say those words a lot this tonight. But we started with those barrels.
We could be in Belgium right now.
We could be. You don't know where we're filming right now. The internet is everywhere. It's
true.
And we said, let's start those off. And Garrett was very fundamental in that. Paul very fundamental in that. And what's interesting with those first few beers was it took about 3 years before those beers actually were clicking.
Right.
Because we got Al Bruck's Bug County Bug Farm. We got really lucky with getting yeast and microbacteria. Back then, it was very hard to find.
Right.
And so we've done cycles of that. And we'll talk about those as we go through those beers. But I thought it was very fundamental back then, not knowing really anything from anything, just enjoying sour beers,
Sure.
and then how to make them.
Yep.
So I just want to be real quick before we open the beers up. Maybe people just say a little bit about what they know about Cuvée Vibe and the experience sour and stuff.
That's an entire episode.
Yeah.
What we've experienced with our sour, but the whole Vibe barrel program has been great to experience. You're right. Started out early on with the 2008 barrel, which initially wasn't sour. Drove through a couple different iterations and soured that up in a Flanders style, and went to a couple more barrels that we got through Garrett and Paul, and it's been great to do these merged blends of several different vintages over the years, which we've maintained and kept in cornies and cellared them for a long time.
For a long time.
It's been great to do, and the tastes that have come out of these barrels have been amazing and fantastic.
Amazing.
So we'll talk a little bit more about that here.
Love
in a
the
second, but
Flanders.
It's been great. Yeah.
Kev, you've had some of these beers.
Yes, I have. Well, what I'm wondering is how you think the blending process has helped you be able to shape the final product, because normally you don't really have that option, right? It lets you tailor
you
what
don't know where it's going to be in 2
end
years.
result
right?
is
You-
going to
you
be a
drink
little
it,
bit.
And then you have to understand where that's going. I think I can comment on that a little bit when we taste some of these and see what we thought.
The blending process was one of the funnest
That's
parts.
the
for
most
sure.
fun part, honestly. Waiting is
Yeah.
hard, but the blending is everything. So
And this is exactly what got me into sours, is tasting the first barrel. I think Garrett gave me some. He's all,
Right.
you want in on this project?
Yes.
And that was like in 2011. I'm like,
Yeah.
of course. So then that's like my first taste of a Flanders and a Lambic. I'm like, oh, wow. And we're just doing this? And
Yeah.
it's like, yep. Just sit in the back of a little warehouse. So
before we dip in
I'm
too hard, I saw the Peanut Gallery maybe saying that camera wasn't on. Kevin, you want to check that really quick? Or you know it's running.
I'll check it. I can check it.
Just check it out. Just very
Maybe
quick. Yeah.
pointing in
Make sure it's just all good.
interesting direction.
Peanut Gallery, you know what? The comment section, in the internet, it's alive, and in person, it's alive.
Can you
too,
hear me?
so.
Yeah, it sounds as
We're
though
good.
you're off.
Rock
here.
and roll. Thank you. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to
on.
go through the 4 beers we have in front of us. This is Cuvée Vibe 15,
ganging
16,
up on you,
17,
Super
18.
Heavy.
Sorry, we don't
I
have
know.
Cuvée Vibe 19. Well, we drank all of it at Fest.
Consumed that.
We consumed it. It was canned. It was a canned product, very limited release, 1 per. And also, some people say it was maybe too sour. So we don't talk about it anymore. Some people, again, the peanut gallery has said, maybe
I thought it was delicious.
Maybe I'd have 3 tums tonight, maybe then 2 tums tonight. So what I would like to do today is we're going to go through each of those beers. We're going to go in reverse chronological order because I don't want us to get blown out at 15. This is just nuts, just a paint thinner, right? We want to go backwards. So we will open each and just talk about it. Just have a good little share.
Great.
So all right, start with 18.
Correct on.
18, Andy, is the year?
Yeah, 2018 was the year that it was served at Fest.
Yep.
And no things in the chat with the plastic cups. I don't want to hear about it. Just trying to not break anyone's toes with broken glassware. There you go.
Was this the one we blended in
This is
the Flair's backyard?
Plus the bourbon
Okay.
barrels. Yeah, we'll talk about that. So I'll read the label. So there you go, guys. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you.
Cheers. So I'll read the label.
I got to get you super heavy.
I wonder who wrote these. Since 2008, Ventura Independent Beer Enthusiasts have been aging beer in oak barrels. Venture has ever-changing goals as diverse as the beers produced by its club members. The addition of the clean bourbon barrel aging from the Cycle Series program adds a new spectrum to our flavor palette. This year, blending team found a remarkable marriage between the complex wine barrels we've had and wild beers and your in-your-face flavors of the bourbon barrel-aged beers. We have sour red, quad, porter, old ale, and we blended a lot of different beers. And so this has literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different beers. Chris Acker, Andy, Jeff, Doug, Flair, and James helped blend it. So as we go back in time, because we're going to go, all the barrels we've had, we added a bourbon barrel into the Homebrew Club project. But this was an integration of both those sour barrels we talked about earlier and those bourbon barrels, just to add an edge, because we had all these kegs laying around. Everyone's got 5 gallons of a beer they don't know what to do with.
Yep.
So
That was a great afternoon.
it was an awesome afternoon.
It was very fun. I think it was the Flanders from 14 that
Yeah.
we wanted to put the most in, but we were light on that
We didn't have
keg.
much left.
Yeah. So
We had the biggest contribution is the 2013 sour red or Flanders. Yeah, that's the biggest 30% of this. Yeah. So for me, what's really cool about this is, I think today modern 2021 sours are getting a little, not getting the limelight anymore. But there's acidity here, but it's the rich fruit flavor, the depth, and it's not too grating. But there's so much going on, right? There's not just
It's really
one
nice.
note, right?
Nope.
So that's what I love about these blends. And what you find is doing this, and we've done this, handful of times, is you don't know where it's going to end up. You just hope it's going to go away, some trajectory, right? It's not carbonated. It's not been re-fermented. It's whatever. So I love this, and I love these kind of beers. And so I'm curious to see where the rest of the beer goes. But I was wondering what other people are thinking about just trying this right now.
Well, and that afternoon with the blending was awesome. It was great. And you're right. We go through the process of, literally quarter ounce here, quarter ounce there, and developing this blend that tastes great at the time. And you really don't know for sure what's going to happen
Yep,
when
exactly.
we recarbonate in the bottle. But you have to have a great starting point.
Yeah.
And we did that afternoon. And I have to say that I do think that this is excellent. You've got there is a little presence from the later edition of
Yep.
the bourbon barrel.
Bourbon barrels, yeah.
Which is there, and it really rounds this out nicely. It's and it's got just enough crispness from some acetic that's in there.
Yeah,
But
a little bit of acetic.
it's
Yeah.
nice.
yeah, it's still well.
Yeah, we can. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. So, yep.
Yeah.
Gallery. Go for
Yeah, I
it.
definitely pick up most of the Flanders in there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you do.
it's a lot of
I
Flanders.
love,
I like
I love
a
that.
dark
I feel like the
cherry in
Flanders
there
always been-
with
Yeah.
that oak. It's
like leather.
delicious.
I think that Flanders always been a little,
That's a backbone of our blend.
It's always
love
had
it.
its soft spot for a lot of
Yes.
guys, a lot of people in the club. They'll drink both the barrels. We have all those barrels, but it's the Flanders always been like a little touchdown to the whole project.
It's a backbone. It's a crowd pleaser.
It's it is a cloud breeze.
all my Flanders are gone. Just,
Yeah,
just so
you've
you
drank
know.
all of them, of course. Yeah.
I still do have some cornies. So for the next blend, I still have some aged
When
stuff
we
in my cellar.
fire the team back up, we'll get the team back together. We do need to get back into this, and I think we will, because we have some new club members and maybe want to do another project, fire something else off, and so this is good. So no, that's really enjoyable, and so we're gonna go even more back in time to 2017 to the fruit variants.
This was cherries.
Cherries.
I remember this one.
You were in on this one, weren't you, Kurt? The cherry one? I think you were in on that one.
I was in on the first few,
Yeah.
not the most recent.
Well, this is also like 5 years old, so. Recent is relative.
That's true.
Great shirt, by the way, Kirk.
Yeah.
OG vibe shirt.
It's OG. Yeah.
The screen printing.
Mine ended up in the lint filter of my dryer.
Yeah, the entire shirt was destroyed, yes.
Yeah, that's one of the OG ones.
All right. So. I got to read the fucking code. All right. So, cherries. So, members, Ventura Independent Beer Enthusiasts have been maintaining wine barrels filled with beer loaded to the brim with wild yeast and bacteria since 2008. Keeping these puppies loaded with beer can be time-consuming, but the juice is worth the squeeze. Given the cadence of fine sour beer production, beer is unavailable more often than it's not. In an attempt to put Cuvée Vibe on its course, I pulled a portion of sour blonde and aged it on sour cherries. Furthering its decadence, it was aged on Palo Santo wood, providing a subtle coconut flavor. Stay tuned. Home brewers can succeed. That was a little joke, a little goof that I'll eventually can a beer. So funny. So it was only me on this one. I just ripped this one off myself. So.
And
sour
who else?
cherries.
Who else is well known for Palo Santo wood?
Doghead?
What was it? It was well, Dogfish
Head.
is.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I learned about, so as a sidebar, I learned about Palo Santo from a guy I met in my clean room back at Santa Barbara. He was a home brewer. He was maintaining our tools. And he's like, have you ever had a Palo Santo porter? I'm like, what do you mean? And Palo Santo wood, fresh Palo Santo wood, is like super coconut, like wild, like crazy strong. And it's like you touch the beer with it and it's like done, game over. So the Palo Santo Dogfish is like a big tank. It's more of like a Porto or kind of like, storage tank. But yeah, they call it that. So yeah, it's good. So all right, cherries. Let's go. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Now the mixer. Okay.
I actually think we had this one on tap that year at the fest, too.
Yeah, so
And I think
usually
it's the only one that tapped out, too.
I try to maybe make a 2 or 3 gallon keg, depending on how I
yeah.
blend it out and stuff. And so for all these beers, by the way, so these are all naturally carbonated, recarbonated in these bottles. I want to do that full 750 cork and cage, other than the can one we did. And that's because these age are so well. That's why we're doing this today. It's the ability for, say, these beers 5, 10, 15 years down the road, what's going on. A lot of breweries these days that focus on sour brewing are getting a lot of shit because, well, no one wants to buy them.
Yep.
But they're aging well. And so there's kind of an experience going on. I mean, I literally flew to Belgium to trade for 30-year-old Lambic, right? I'm an addict, right? I'm here for this. So this is really cool. For me, this is a good acidity. It's not too much. I didn't go crazy on the cherries, but the cherries flavor for me is there.
It's there. It's subtle.
Yeah. So
there.
what do you guys think?
I guess I'd follow up with
Yeah.
exactly that.
I get the wood in there.
Yeah.
You could definitely taste it. It's,
Yeah.
it's unique. It's different.
I've always been a fan of subtlety when it comes to fruit flavor, and so for me it's perfect. It is there, but it's over the top.
Nice and balanced.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know who wrote that description.
I've wrote all the copy.
Yeah.
I wrote all the copy.
Somehow I just knew.
Well, he says he wrote it.
He is the
No,
label guy.
Maybe I paid someone.
He,
Maybe
he
I paid
made all the
someone to write it.
labels.
I don't know. Who cares? I sit at work and just write this stuff. Who cares? Yeah, the peanut gallery. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the recipes? I mean, I know the Flanders.
Ah,
the Bane.
yeah, that's great. That's a great question.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so this project works is we have to fill a 55, 60 gallon wine barrel. Not many people, Wendell, have a system that big. So we have to source from 5 or 10 people.
5, 10 gallons, yeah.
5, 10 gallons at a time, kind of a stone soup project. And so it's interesting, and I don't know if everyone will be awake after we do this one, but we could do a barrel age project in general, pod. But the thing is, to get 5 to 10 gallons is kind of a work, and then you want to make everything the same.
Yep.
What's good about sour beer production is the control over everyone's batch. We can have a little bit looser and still make a great beer.
Yeah.
We didn't have this, rigorous plan for a lot of these things. We said make it 1050 OG, use this yeast, don't top it too much, and then everyone's beer is kind of dancing around the middle. Similar-ish, right? Whereas clean barrel-aged beer is you got to be a little more careful.
I do recall tasting some of the individual contributions, and there were there was a swing, but not too much.
Not insane, but
Yeah.
but there was a variation. So, but these beers don't need anything. They need to be fermentable, and maybe some higher residual gravity points, maybe a little higher mash temperature. But they don't need much because the bacteria, the yeast, we're going to add We also added maltodextrin, which is unfermentable yeast. We add that the bacteria eats that, so we just goose these beers over time. So these recipes are very simple. It'd be really tough, in my opinion. It'd be very tough to be like, oh, we need this much crystal malt or this much that or something like for this Flanders stuff, because we don't know. We don't know what we're doing. We're playing around.
I don't think you'd recognize it in the beer.
And I don't think
anyways.
exactly. So, what do you think? What's the evaluation here on this cherry?
I love it.
Great.
Right? Super solid. I think initially it was always, for me, it's kind of waxed and waned with Apollo. I mean, obviously subjectivity.
The wood's there. Yeah.
It's what's
there.
there. So,
It's there, but it's not like
it's not crazy.
taking things over.
Yeah, exactly. And they're wood aged, but this has also been 3 cycles. At this time, the beers went through the oak a couple times, so it's pulled out a lot of the oak. But
Those barrels are
Palo Santo,
pretty neutral at this point. Yeah.
pretty neutral at this
Well,
point. Yeah.
this was the last year we had them up at in Moore Park,
Moore
right?
Park, yeah.
This is
Correct.
when we moved
that's
them.
a great story. Yeah,
We moved
So,
them down to to surf.
Store these beers at undisclosed locations across Southern California.
Well, they started surf.
They
and
started
then
at
we
surf.
moved them up to the barrel warehouse in Moore
Moore
Park,
Park.
which was
Okay.
our barrel warehouse.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then moved them back.
Moved them back.
Once we got a larger barrel warehouse in Ventura, so they made the trip in the back of trucks full, which
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
added to
I can remember
I
this
can-
trip.
things
I can
up,
also I can bring that some story to that, because I called some people. I asked, how do we move these things? And I got 3 responses from people that will remain nameless.
Yes.
One person said, don't move them. You're going to fuck the beer up.
We had no
One
choice.
person said, I don't know what's going to happen. One person said, we do this all the time. So 3 high-quality Tier 1 producers in craft beer said 3 different things.
we
So
made sure they were topped up, and we carefully put them in the back of the
taped
truck.
up, we taped them
drove
up and
What are you
moved them,
gonna
and that
do?
was, so.
I would like to think it added to the beer.
Only
do too.
only character.
Yeah.
So,
Think
no,
so
I'm
too.
happy with the cherry flavor, happy with the carb, the acid, and so that's where, as we're going backwards in time, I'm so curious about how the acidity is developed in these beers. Because these beers, so by the way, these beers have been stored behind my futon in my apartment at Thousand Oaks since they were packaged. So very well aged.
That's
no cold. No cold.
an amazing
storage.
seller.
It is actually, it's a pretty dope seller. Come on by. Come and get some beer. So, all right, 16. So so again, we've done this. We had this weird kind of bourbon barrel aged thing, and then we did a fruit thing. But now we're going really back, because back then, we were just reading stuff on the internet and just trying to put things together. So as you go back in time, it'll be curious to see what we thought about how to blend it versus what maybe a modern take on blending, or add, okay, we're just gonna put vanilla beans and fucking whatever in it. But so as we go back, it's curious. And we had much less barrel stock back then. We had nothing. We had like 3-5 barrel. We had nothing, right?
Yep.
And so what we've been tasting is kind of a, the best parts of everything we've made, right? These little samples here or there. So, all right, 16.
Where's Wendell at?
Wendell!
He should actually be tasting some of these, because he was in most of them. Kurt, you should be getting some taste of these too, because you're in most of these.
We're passing the bottles around.
You are? Okay. Because if you think about it, we've missed
something?
we missed all these sours
know how
at
to
the
do that.
fest, so it's kind of
I
cool.
thought he was an electrician.
No, he hires electricians.
He hires electricians. Ah, copy that. Okay. Okay.
We want you, Wendell. We
right.
want you.
All right. Let's go.
This
So
smells
16.
great.
The OGs, the real sour.
It's not dwindle yet.
Okay. 20. So there's a lot of repeat copy on these.
Yes.
Aging beer, stable wood aged beers have only increased year over year. Collection grows exponentially, more blending options become available. This year, we blending team decided to use 100% wine barrel aged sour beers. Using beer from 2 wine barrels, spanning nearly 5 years and 3 vintages, we showcase the true power of blending. From the oldest carrying depth and complexity, the middle years bright acidity, and the youngest containing bold fruit aromatics, we hope you enjoy this beer as much as we enjoyed blending it.
And that age span? The age span of the barrels?
It's from
you have it
11 to 15.
Yep.
And that was Chris, Andy, Eric Drew, shout out Casa Agria, Doug, and James. So
Nice.
who's gonna tear this one down? Who's gonna pass it?
I had no idea
Mr.
Eric
Stott, who
was
is not here.
involved.
Cheers.
James, I hope Hawaii is good, because these beers are
Cheers.
fucking awesome. Sorry, gotta blow James up, but he's having a good vacation. It's fine. He's having a good old vacation down in Hawaii. So, all right. So
See that this Lambic right here that's in this
Mm-hmm.
was in the 18. I remember this one being
That was
just
what we ran out
standing
of.
out. Yeah. So it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool going back through these.
this like kind of juicy fruit bubble gum. Some people don't like that, but I like this kind of. There's a depth, and it was funny. I was talking about to Eric. Sorry, I was talking to. I'm blanking his name right now, but I was talking to someone about just blending beers and stuff, and this funny concept of like there's like tea flavors with like super citrusy flavors, and like yeast make this. Like it's amazing.
This is
like,
fruit with no fruit.
Yeah, fruit
Yeah.
with no fruit. Fruit with no fruit. Exactly.
Spot on.
And the acidity in this is low
It's all
too.
down. It's all very low key,
like-
and which I
yeah,
really like.
it's very
really
good.
Curious about that. Yeah,
It's soft. Yeah.
Yeah,
it is soft.
good.
It's been soft. It's cool. What do you think, Kev?
I think we just threw
I love
almost
it.
every adjective that we could at it. And
Yeah, we did everything.
Yeah, it's soft. The fruit is there. Again, knowing no fruit is actually in this,
Yep.
but it is present. Very nicely balanced.
I love those unfruited sours that taste fruity.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I live for.
And straight up perfection on the carbonation, still in the bottle after this long, right?
Yep.
yeah.
Me doing the sanitizing the car the the cork's
The
wrong,
corks.
but you know the corks are
Yes.
still cold and carved. They're
Yeah.
fine. There's still things are popping out. It's fine. It's still happening. Yeah.
The sugar formulas work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What-
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the flavor comes from that wine barrel that we had
Oh yeah,
it in.
yeah.
It's
Because
just-
as we're going back
Yeah.
in time, we're getting more and more of
The-
that wine
Yep.
complexity coming
Right.
out of the beers. Yes.
What's the story of the corks? I haven't heard this.
Oh, the cork story is you shouldn't spray your corks with Star Sand. You should just put them in the bottle. And when
Yeah.
you do that, you remove
Why is
some of the
that?
waxy finish on them that protects them. You kind of eat some of the stuff that's meant to be there.
So
So
they
Oh.
manufacture them. They have this, very thin coating on them that's actually allows them to release easier upon removal. And if you put them in a Star Sand solution, you remove some of that. And when they come shipped in the bags, they're actually sealed up, and they sanitize it with
sulfur dioxide.
sulfur dioxide
Yeah,
or something.
yeah.
So they're sanitary when you open them up. So you should just use them.
So if you star sand them, they can get like stuck and
They
start
get
falling
like they
apart or
get,
something.
they get
They'll
they get
just
kind of
get-
just
Yeah.
like rock like a
Oh.
rock.
And
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
pull it on top, it'll just break right off.
Yeah, just break
the top
or
of
break
it.
in half.
And then you have to
I've
use a
had some of those
corkscrew.
for sure.
Yeah, you gotta get corkscrew and stuff. So they've been lucky. These have they've been sitting around for like 6 years. So maybe there's like they've fallen off some of
They've
that stuff.
settled off, yeah.
So no, I'm really happy with. Again, we open these beers up every once in a while.
Yeah.
These are kind of just for fun, beer bottle shares at, or we just Vibe finally back out in the wild at Surf and
Yeah.
Suds. Opened up 20 kegs.
Yeah.
I wasn't there. I was
God.
maybe a little taste for that. What did you guys think of Surf and you were at Surf and Suds, right?
I did make
As
it to show.
usual, yes.
So what did you think?
We
What was
killed
that?
them.
It was awesome.
Lines.
Awesome. It was good to be
awesome.
back. Everybody kept coming by. Just everybody was happy. So
That's good.
It's
That's
a good.
Big line.
It felt good.
Yeah.
I mean, even though there were a lot of people, there was big lines everywhere. Everybody
Yeah.
stayed pretty spread out. but
Okay.
Good.
It was good.
I didn't make that one.
It was a good fest. So I'm looking
But-
forward to
Back in the
Our
in the
homebrew
fold. But
fest.
I love having the 25 taps and the line. It tickles me. It tickles me. So
Yeah,
So-
it's funny because everybody kept walking up and just like looking. Oh, you got all these beers?
battery
And they're
pack
like,
issue.
oh,
And they have to look at the menu.
yeah. They
They're
have to
like,
look at a menu.
It's like going through the drive-through at Taco Bell and you're like, I don't know.
I have to decide now?
So much pressure.
I have so many things. All right.
I want everything.
We will grab the last
The last
beer.
one.
2015, the big dog, the first one.
Wendell, you've been getting tastes. I hope.
We may need a new battery pack, Kevin.
All right, you want to pause?
We can pause. I mean, mine's just running.
I mean, everything else can keep running. Let me switch the
just grab it.
battery.
It's fine.
Can't hear.
Jude,
We're back.
we're back. Are we live? Are we hot? All right, give it a. All right, we're synced up. Kevin, sit down. Let's finish this beer before my GoPro dies. All right, 2015, the oldest of the vibes. Awesome. Oh, fuck.
See, Star Sand.
See,
boy.
see,
Is that a Star
idiot.
Stand cork?
Not on top of the electronics.
Thank you. Sorry.
Shit. Someone's gonna have to wrench, I think. We're gonna have to wrench this hog.
There's one over there at the
Ivan,
taps.
wrench me. Ivan,
This is not getting cut out of post.
this is not getting cut. We're gonna post everything. Ivan, wrench.
Ivan, I got a wrench over there. Or you got one in your pocket.
Wait, do you
There
really
go.
have a wrench in your pocket?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh, Leatherman.
You've heard that line before?
It's your fucking pliers, dude. There you go. Oh.
Rip.
Corkscrew.
Yep. I'm gonna go grab a corkscrew.
And the score here is
Oh, he's got a corkscrew.
You have one out there?
No.
mean, it's a multi-tool. It's not an amazing tool.
It's not an everything tool.
You got serrated knife. He's got a sword. Let's saber. Right now for my course.
I have one.
You got one? Go.
I have one in my car. Right here.
This is live. This is how live works. Live to tape works.
Life to tape.
Live to tape.
There we go. Hey, what are you gonna do?
Meanwhile,
This is real. This is real time. This is real time.
time to pour you.
Yeah, if I have my car keys on me, I don't know where the fucking car keys went.
I lied. I don't have one.
You don't have one? Okay.
Can push it in.
No, I know what's going on. Give me a
I
sec.
dare you to do it with a Sharpie.
Somebody has to drink wine around here.
KK drinks wine.
Oh, do we need something?
Yeah,
We need a
wine
corkscrew.
opener.
Sorry.
Actually, I think I have one over. Mark.
There it is.
Champion.
Oh,
Here he
got it.
comes.
Bail it in the cut. Awesome.
The Swiss bail us out.
The Boy Scouts. Oh,
That's a Swiss Army, baby.
We're not screwed anymore.
not screwed anymore. I'll walk away from the console.
Go gently. Bam.
Oh, baby.
All right. Boom. All right.
It's filming.
Glasses. Or sorry, plastic. All right.
Come on, this is glass.
Glass or plastic? Anyone knows that reference? You get $10. The Rock.
No,
baby.
it's The Rock.
Glass or plastic? Do you want to be a glass jar or a plastic bag? All right. Sick. 2015. Let's read it off. Andy's first copy. 2012. Members of the Ventura Independent Beer Enthusiasts gathered to fill a few innocuous, recently dumped wine barrels, combining multiple small batches of beer and a select blend of Saccharomyces, Brettanomyces, Pediococcus, and Lactobacillus. We allowed this beer to develop for 18 months. The beers emerged from those barrels sour, sweet, fruity, funky, dry, and above all, delicious. They were parceled out to the barrel contributors and barrel-filled again, just as they were in the beginning. These beers, the beer you have in your hands, is a blend of those barrels in a Solera barrel dating back from 2009. We hope you enjoy this beer just as much as we have enjoyed brewing, aging, anticipating, blending, and packaging it. Cheers. And so back then it was the smallest blend, rather than the 100% stuff. So 50% sour blonde, 34% sour amber, 16%, actually pretty high percentage, of that sour porter aged on
Right.
fruit. 2015, Dan, Joel Butler, shout out Butler Brothers. The two Butler brothers, Andy, Doug, and James. So, go crazy. Sweet. So, all right, where are we at?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
This is good. How much of that porter was in there?
Like 16%.
13%.
You could
16%.
taste it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You definitely
You said
taste
aged
it.
on fruit. What?
Yeah, I think it
what
was
fruit
that-
was
so-
that?
So
Yeah.
originally, like I had said earlier, the first iteration of that barrel was actually just a clean, robust porter in a white wine barrel. We went through that. Ultimately, we ended up souring it up, went Flanders style-ish with it, with the support beer that went in as Flanders, and then hit it with fruit. I think the third iteration. So this was probably the third, batch off of that first 2008 barrel, if I had to guess. Yeah.
Reminds me a lot of 16 because they're
15%,
very
yeah.
similar.
Yeah,
This is not much
exactly.
older. Acidity still is banging. It's not too much.
No,
it's
it's
not
just-
too little. He knows what it is. I like. I think I like 16 a little bit more because it reminds me more of the traditional Belgian Dry Fontaine, Cantillon, where it's got a little more of that fruit complexity. Where this is, I don't say it's past its prime. I'm saying this is very good, but it's missing some of those.
It's not as complex, yeah.
Not as. But that was also when we didn't know what we were doing.
Right,
And we had a
yeah.
very limited schedule, so
Yeah.
right. So.
It's still really solid.
Oh yeah.
Through the whole way through, you can see the learning curve.
Yes.
I mean, it
Yeah, as we go back in
comes and
time,
shows.
right?
So,
Yeah, I dig it.
yeah.
Cool.
It's fantastic, yeah.
This has been awesome. This has been a lot of fun. I mean, final thoughts. It's been tough to keep these projects going. That's how it goes with homebrewing. People do different stuff. Wish to bring it back. I hope we do. Maybe it's smaller.
We will.
If we fire another one of these off tonight, we're gonna talk about barrel aged beers. because we have a bunch of just clean barrel aged beers tonight. We'll see. We'll see where it ends up. How many people want to run the mixer tonight? That's the question.
Yeah.
But I was really happy. I would say, like, what was so funny about this, or at least what I think about this project was, I was like, can this go forever? Right? This is an infinite loop. And you look at other clubs that are much bigger and older than us, and things always end. Things start and end. And with 2019, I wanted us I knew it was going to have to stop. So I want us to end on a good note and not just end it to end it, right? Just because we can't keep up. So
Exactly.
I'm really happy with everything, and we don't have 19 of Cure, of course. That was a good beer. I mean, it was great beer. But all these beers have aged so well, and we have them. We always bring them out for little parties, little events like this, just to try them out and see where everything was going. So I'm really happy with all this stuff. I'm really glad to try these beers with you guys. So
Yep.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Thanks, guys.
yeah, definitely.
experience,
Thank you.
great club,
Fantastic.
great
I
event.
loved all of them.
thank you, everyone. Thank you for the Peanut Gallery to hang out. Peace.
Let's drink the rest of these bottles.
Let's fucking crank on these beers.
Oh, bring. We got to bring.
Bring the gong in.
Bring the con. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Do we need some gone B-roll?
Yeah.
B-roll.
Tums.
I gotta check on the porchette. I gotta keep that. The porchette.
Very nice.
Aye.
I got my podcast voice on.
Do you want
Yeah.
the ASMR?
I wish we had
Do
an
you want me to
expert
turn the
over
gain
here.
up on this hog? Do you want the ASMR? Do you want the full ASMR experience? Spoons. Spoons. Kurt Cobain. Yeah.
She'd limp in.
But in the podcast voice.
You're
In
gonna
the
put the
podcast
podcast
voice.
voice on.
Come on.
This is 105.5 KBPS, Dry Time Radio.
Maybe.
EIBE. Jude.
We're back.
We're back.